Hello and welcome to the Cod Cast, your official Fleetwood Town podcast hosted by me, Ben Natman. Today we are joined by owner Jamie Pilley, but first a thank you to our sponsors. Elevate your business with CardSaver, your trusted partner for business card payment solutions. From cutting-edge devices to custom options that fit your business needs, we have got you covered. Our business cash advance offers quick access to funds with no interest, just a simple fixed fee. With pay as you earn, join the businesses that choose CardSaver for reliable payments and smart growth. Now, back to the pod. Hello and welcome back to the Cod Cast, your official Fleetwood Town podcast, hosted by me, Ben Natman. Today is episode 1. In this series, we'll be speaking to people in and around the football club at Fleetwood Town Football Club. Today, we are joined by no one else other than owner Jamie Pilley. Jamie, how are we?
I'm good, thanks, Nappers. Afternoon, and it's good to finally get what we've been talking about started, and it's exciting to do the first one.
Absolutely. So, you've been in and around this football club for a long time now. Obviously, Andy's involvement, the Pilley family have had a huge impact on Fleetwood Town's success. However, now it's more than being a fan. Obviously, well done on becoming the owner of Fleetwood Town Football Club in the last month or so. How's it been? Has it been a tough month, or has it been like any other?
Well, it's been good. Finally, to get the takeover on over the line, working with the EFL to get all the I's dotted and the T's crossed, and we're there now, and it's all done. Probably pre the end of the season, so around May, June time, I think it was officially announced, which is massively positive for the football club and moving forward. Feels really proud to finally get it done. I think we're in a good place team-wise. I think we're in a good place behind the scenes in the back office. So, yeah, positive stuff, mate.
So when you did get the green light, obviously there was a lot of messages of relief, and obviously there was a lot of joy in the news from supporters, from obviously family of yours as well. Was there any bit of advice you were given, maybe by family or maybe even by another owner of a football club or friends, that you thought, I actually quite like that?
In terms of running a club, I don't think there's any specific advice I've been given in terms of you need to do X, Y, and Z to do this. But I think I've learnt a lot over the years off Steve, off my dad, to really know what happens behind the scenes. We've got a lot of good people in the background working hard away, and it was also good to get the Waterford completion done as well. So both happened pretty simultaneously, and we're in a good place now over both clubs.
Yeah, talk to me. So you say you've been involved, with your dad, and obviously you've had, experience from a young age as well. Obviously, when did that come about? Because you mentioned that a forum recently, the fan forum, that you've been in and around boardroom since you're 5-6 years of age as well. But obviously, when you could understand it, what was kind of the first real experience you thought, wow, this is like more than just 11 boys on a football pitch playing against 11 other players on a Saturday?
I think in terms of that, I've obviously been involved with the football club since my dad purchased it. 2004. Yeah. So since then, I've watched each stand be built. I've watched us through 6 promotions and 10 years in League One. So loads of experience understanding the journey of the football club, and also seeing what happens, as we say, in the boardrooms, and how obviously picking up on what's happening in the transfer room and what's happening through just all the general stuff that people don't see in a football club, and the boring stuff, really. So no, it's really positive.
Did anything surprise you about that? Obviously, from the outside, everyone I think kind of would love to have maybe a week involved with a football club just to see how it goes on. The transfer window, signing a player, dealing with an agent, dealing with a manager. Did anything surprise you? Thought, I wasn't quite sure that was how it was done. Maybe specifically when a player had a difficult agent, for example.
Yeah, I think the one thing that surprised me through the last few weeks and months, obviously first transfer window where I've taking the reins, is probably the speed at the pace in which deals happen. I thought they'd take a bit more time, but you get chatting about a player, you speak to the agent, you're sort of there on where you want and how you want to proceed with it, and then before you know it, the deal's done and the player's in the building and being announced. So that was probably the one thing that caught me off guard, is the pace of the deals.
Absolutely. You mentioned Waterford there. Obviously, they obviously got promoted last year as well and doing quite well in their division as well. How is everything going over there? And we've seen the fruits of what it can offer us. The likes of Ronan Coughlin and Phoenix Patterson have come over more recently. Junica Turner as well, who has gone on to a League One move this summer as well. How's things gone on with that?
Yeah, I love Waterford. It's massively positive over there, and I think Irish football in general is coming on leaps and bounds. And as you say, we are now seeing sort of the fruits of our labour with the likes of Ronan, who I think will have a big impact this season. Junior has obviously been here and now moved on. Phoenix is in and around our first team all the time, and I think we've got to be conscious of how beneficial that can be to us, and bringing players over gives us massive benefits. And it's not just the Waterford players, because what it allows us to do is have eyes and ears in the League of Ireland. And you got to look at David Arrington, who we've brought over, Tommy Lonergan, who we got for a steal from St. Pat's, and they're the other benefits that come along with knowing the League of Ireland. One
you didn't mention there was also Promise I'm a Cherry.
That's a very good point.
Who obviously had 2 good years at Fleetwood as well, and might not have always scored the goals that he probably deserved to, but he built up, a reputation for being a big game player. He became strong, he became fit, he became leaner, and adapted to the English game quite well, I thought, in 2 years. Obviously, he was sold on this summer. Is that just another positive of that market as well, where Fleetwood are wanting to be this club that are sustainable, that can sell the players on, buy them for a specific fee and sell them on for X amount? That's just another positive, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Promise is a big one that I did miss there, and I should probably not be paying him any dividends there. So, Promise was a real another success, because we brought him in from Bowes, paid a fee for him, and when he came here, he probably wasn't the finished article. No. And from there, we polished him up, and he turned into the player what he was last season, scoring against Blackpool. It was a great finish. We took it round with his left foot. And then, obviously, he's caught the eye of quite a few clubs over the summer, and Bristol Rovers wasn't the only ones in for him. But they got to the number that we wanted as quick as possible. So he's gone over to them. I think he's had a good start pre-season. He's scored a few, and I think he'll do well for them, and I hope he does well.
And talking about pre-season, David Harrington has been starting in goals a lot this season as well, and is looking like an established player already. He looks a big figure in the goal as well. So again, another positive standout pre-season for us. Yeah,
really like David. Big commanding presence in goal. He's struggled with his injury since he come here, which has probably been the main reason why he's not featured. So he's probably defeated them, hopefully now, and fingers crossed he can keep kicking on.
Taking it back then, obviously before you were named owner as well, you were a young lad watching, your team, your boyhood team from the terraces rise up the leagues. 6 promotions in 10 years is absolutely phenomenal at any level. Obviously, Pondy holds the record there, doesn't he? And we're still going in League One. Was there any standout moments during that? Obviously, there are absolutely plenty. Obviously, the rising to the Football League, the Jamie Vardy situation, even winning at Wembley, on your dad's birthday as well.
Yeah. In terms of moments, I think everyone picks up on Wembley. That's an easy one too. I always love a good cup run. I think Burnley away a couple of years ago was really good. Took 2,000 fans, put a real good account of ourselves, and probably unlucky to not get to that next level, albeit for 1 goal. And then other moments you can pick up on through the journey as well. Playoff campaigns in League One, I think they're a massive success for the football club. We crashed and burned against Wickham here. That didn't go to plan. And then obviously against Bradford, where we were pretty unlucky again, really. I think if David Ball had scored that one where it hit the bar, we'd be probably talking about where we maybe got to Wembley. But yeah, I think they're the key moments.
Absolutely. And, a lot of people go on about cup runs being able to maybe not just add a bit of form to your league campaign, but add momentum as well. What does a cup run do to a club like Fleetwood? Getting to the fifth round for the first time in the club's history. We also forced a replay at Hillsborough as well. Getting to Turf Moor in front of, I think there was about 12,000, 2,000, coming from Fleetwood. What does that do to a club like Fleetwood?
It gives us a side campaign, a side quest that we can really go and have some fun with, because you go and play teams from other divisions. Obviously, you get carried away thinking, we could go and get United in the draw. I think United was actually the next ball out after Burnley as well. Yeah, exactly. So, and then I think you can't overlook the cash it delivers to a club. Yeah. I mean, from a campaign like that, you can easily raise to 250 grand, which is massive for a club like us. Absolutely
so. And Fleetwood have had this reputation in the last kind of 10, 12 or even 14 years, you could say, back to non-league, of having so many standout players. We've had loanies here that have gone on to play Premier League football. We've had players here like Amari Bell, Ben Davis, Jamie Vardy, just to name three that have gone on to play the Premier League the last few years as well. Was there any standout players for you growing up you thought, right, yes, he's a very, very good player, we're lucky to have him at Fleetwood Town Football Club? Yeah, I mean, I'm rolling the years back, but Jamie Milligan comes to mind. He used to take free kicks like penalties, which was one that took us from the depths, really, to where we are now. Vardy is an obvious one. He was just an absolute pleasure to watch at conference level and got us out of that league. I think if we didn't have Vardy at that level, we probably wouldn't have got promoted, and Wrexham would have got out of there a lot earlier than what they did. Other standouts for me, I always love watching Louis Coyle play. David Ball was a pleasure. Paddy and Ched, when they get on the pitch together, was always good as well. Yeah. Absolutely so. And that season, Wrexham got 98 points and finished second. So it just kind of backs up your point. Fleetwood had to get over 100 points just to win that league. It was unbelievable. And Vardy got, 31 goals that year as well. Going back to you, obviously, as an owner, you're in the firing line. You've got to be this persona, being confident, being obviously smart. How would you describe Jamie Pilley? How would you describe, obviously, not just as a business person, but as a person in general as well?
Well, I think in terms of me and the chairman I want to be is a man of the people, really, because I know everyone around the football club, from the groundsman to the kitman to the manager, and pretty much half the fans that will walk through the gates, because I've been here, I've been on the terraces for the last 15, 20 years. So I want to make sure that I listen to all the voices around the club. And it's important that all the voices get heard, because everyone sees football in a different way, and everyone has an opinion. So I want to listen to as many people as possible and make the right decisions on and off the pitch.
Why would you say that is so important? Because you see that clubs, kind of the ownership and the fan base are so divided, and you see that fans fall out of love with the game and don't want to go and watch the team play. Whereas when they feel involved, they want to come to the ground, they want to feel a part of stuff. And when you come to Fleetwood, you still feel like you can have a pint on the terraces. You still feel like everyone knows each other. Is that one of the main reasons it's important to know everyone, be involved with the people that make the club, the fans make football?
Yeah, I think the key to lower league football, obviously you can get disenchanted by the Premier League and even the way the Championship's going, is the community aspect of a lot of it. You've got to be aware and know that people might not come here just for the football. They come here to get out of the house and to be with the friends. And people of older ages come here to socialise purely, or for some anyway. I mean, there's obviously the football aspect that we've got to focus on as well, but you've got to be aware of the other social impacts that it has around the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Fleetwood Town Football Club is a club close to a lot of people's hearts, including mine, including yours as well. How would you describe Fleetwood Town Football Club to someone that might not know the club very well, or even particular a player that wants to come in? How would you sell the club?
Well, I think any club like ours at a football league level, even down to the conference and to lower leagues below that, they're always a representation of the community that's around them. So that's what I think Charlie Adam bangs on about a lot, and I think he's right. I think you've got to be able to represent your fans. Fleetwood's a hard working class town, and we want our players to work hard as well and represent that shirt properly. It's a passionate place, and it's a place where people expect to watch good football.
Absolutely so. And to be fair, although last season didn't go to plan, a lot of the time the players give absolutely everything, and I think that's what Charlie identified last season, which I think was really, really good as well. Obviously, Fleetwood Town's a lot different to a lot of clubs in Leagues 1 and League 2 as well, with having Pilley Farm.
Yeah.
How different is having a venue like that to a football club of our size? Because, again, you mentioned community. It's mad how you can just turn up at a training ground, watch a League 1 or a League 2 club training, have a beer and have your lunch.
Yeah, I mean, I think Poolfoot, we've got to be aware of where we lie in the football food chain. We're not going to pull the biggest crowds. We're not going to be able to overpay players 5, 6, 7 grand a week at League 2 level. So we've got to have a USP. And I think Poolfoot really gives us that benefit and that edge on other clubs because it's one of the best facilities in the country, and I stand by that, especially at this level. I think half the championship teams would be proud of a facility like that. And what else it does for the wider community, you have walking football there, there's kids football there, it swarms it constantly. I think about 250,000 people go through there a year. There's girls football teams now that are really kicking off. And there's a lot of Sunday League football there played. So it's a constant venue that's constantly transforming and people flowing through it. And we've also just had planning permission granted on 2 paddle courts as well. So you'll get different aspects in the coming months of what other sports you can play there.
Pilley Farm also the home of the academy, the Category 2 academy, which is unbelievable for a football club of our size in the league we're in. The dome there was a long time in planning, but we finally got it over the line. How important is that? Because for where Fleetwood Town want to go, it's just going to be vital, isn't it?
Yeah, again, it's got to be our USP, and it's got to be what we bang on about, and what Fleetwood is that it needs to be a club that can develop talent, and Poolfoot is a massive part of that. I think there's only 2 Category 2 academies at our level, us and Crew. So yeah, major benefits, and we've got to be able to see those players coming through and playing first team football as we are doing now. I mean, you got Pilley Smith who's getting minutes and loves his tackle at there. That he's already flown a few in on George Dobson. I saw at the weekend, and then Caden Hughes, he's a lad from Bispham. He went to Montgomery High School decades ago. He would have gone and played for Blackpool or Preston or another local team, but probably because of Poolfoot, he's come to Fleetwood, and now he's a Fleetwood Town player, a local lad as well.
Others that we have developed ourselves, the likes of James Hill, who went to Bournemouth and actually played a good chunk in the Championship for Blackburn last year. And Blackburn fans were very, very impressed with his performances. Josh Feeney, who went to Aston Villa and just recently got a loan spell at Shrewsbury Town, in League 1, which is an unbelievable achievement. Shrewsbury, who are the longest serving club now after ourselves in League 1. What kind of does that do for them, for us, long term as well, selling them on? Because obviously they can come in for us, do a job, but then we sell them on the nature of the beast. What kind of does it do for us long term, us selling them on?
Well, I touched on this at the fans forum. What it allows us to do, because naturally the really good talent we're not going to keep hold of for such a long time, because people want to kick on and play at the highest level they can do. You can't hold people back from doing that. So we've just got to make sure that when we sell these players on and they go to that higher level, we've got those clauses that allow us to get that revenue further down the line, sell-ons, game triggers, things like that. So Hilly and Feeney are 2 perfect examples. The list goes on. Shaden Morris, Jay Matete. I don't think he's had too much game time recently. He's had a few injuries, but again, still fits that model, and they're out there spinning. I mean, Jamie Vardy's the ultimate one, because we've still got 25% on him, but he seems like he'll never leave Leicester, so I don't think it's ever going to come.
Sometimes loyalty can be a bit of a pain, can't it? But he's gone on to have an unbelievable career with England. And
well, he's massive talent that we've obviously pushed on into the Championship, Premier League. He's won everything that you can think of. But I think there was a period of time where he was due to go to Arsenal, and I was on holiday, and it was like a champagne moment where we're thinking, wow, they've triggered his buyout clause, but I don't think it never came to fruition, and we're still sat here today, and he's the longest retained player they have.
When young players arrive at the training ground, or even players that we've signed this summer, which we'll touch on, very shortly, do you obviously you see USP, unique selling point of the training ground as well, but those past experiences, what James Hill has gone and done and played in the Championship just 18 months after leaving the football club. Josh Feeney's had been on tour with Villa this summer as well, and now got a loan move to League One. Jim Matete won promotion with Sunderland just a couple of years ago as well. Those types of players, do other young players think, wow, Fleetwood Town have got a history of developing it, and this is it's a community aspect. I can come in, these are facilities, I can do everything here, I can do the gym, I can, train everything. Does that kind of give us the edge over others? Do you think they think, right, Fleetwood is the club for me?
Well, that's it. And that's part of the sell I gave to Mackenzie Hunt this summer, because I said, don't judge us by what we say, judge us on what we do. The facts are there that we sell players on, and we look to give them to a higher level as quick as possible. And I think that's one of the reasons why he signed for us over League One opposition. Yeah,
absolutely. And you mentioned Mackenzie Hunt. He's, one of the signings this summer. Zach Medley also came in. James Bolton with experience at, with Plymouth and with Portsmouth as well. Matty Virtue from local neighbours Blackpool as well, which is an excellent signing. Elliot Bonds from Cheltenham, who looks an absolute Rolls Royce, by the way. He's just glides across that pitch, doesn't he? Especially off the ball as well. And then Mark Helm, I think, is, in my opinion, the pick of the lot, because I thought, wow, what a signing.
Yeah, he really is.
He is one that can get fans off the edge of the seat, score lots of goals, and obviously he reunites with Charlie, who worked with him at Burnley just 18 months ago.
Yeah, no, I think we've had a good window. I really do. I think bolstering midfield massively, and I think Danny Mayers feels like a new signing this summer as well. He's really come into his own, especially against Hearts. He was an absolute worldie there, 2 great goals. But of the players that we've signed, I think Helm's a great one. We've brought a lot of balance on the left side that we lacked last year, having to play CJ at left wing back, things like that. We've got obviously Sarkin from, I think it was Ostend in Belgium. He came through Arsenal's academy, so he's of good pedigree. And then we've got Mackenzie Hunt as well at left wing back.
Yeah, obviously they're players. The manager, Charlie Adam, obviously came in January last year, and I think we're about 16th. When he came into the football club. We did win 3 of the last 4 games as well. And you could really see a desire. You could really see a upturn in performances, and the effort load was there, and they were fighting for each other, wasn't they? And you said before how Charlie is, community, represent the town. I don't care if you win, lose or draw. You go to the very end. You don't stop chasing for what you believe in. How important is Charlie Adam to this football club? Because he's got a history of developing young players at Burnley. He's local to the area as well. He knows his football club better than a lot of other managers would do. Charlie Adam, I just, think he's probably the right fit for this football club at this moment in time. Speak to me a little bit on Charlie Adam.
Yeah, I think Charlie was a good appointment last year. And he's what I think we've really lacked through a lot of manager churn. We had 3 managers last year. We can't do that every year. We're not going to be able to achieve what we want to by passing through so many managers. So we've entrusted Charlie to, obviously the goal last year was to stay up. We didn't achieve that, but we weren't a million miles away. We were 12 points adrift when he came in. I think we finished 3 points adrift, and the football was so much better than it was prior to that. He has a style of play, and he wants to play that way. And that's probably the biggest benefit we've had of recent, is that we're doing going out on the pitch trying to do exactly that plan. And it's majorly important we focus on that as well.
You talk about obviously having a good relationship with the supporters. How important is it having a good relationship between management staff, and then the owner? Because I always say it's kind of like a bit like a 3-way path. You've got the fans, you've got the manager, and then you've got the chairman at the top as well. Those 3 way, and if they're all connected, a football club will run smoothly. How important is it that you have a good relationship with Charlie Adam? Because Charlie Adam seemed to have built up a good connection with the supporters in his 6 months here. How important is it for you to have a good relationship with Charlie?
Yeah, it's vital. It's probably the most important relationship in the football club. So yeah, I've got a good connection with Charlie, and I back him to do what he says he's going to do this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So this season is a new challenge. After a decade in League One, after 6 promotions in 10 years, a decade in League One is not to be sniffed at, is it? What is kind of the thoughts going into it? Because there's 6 new faces going in. We've let a lot of the players move on to pastures new. A lot of the loan players have gone back. All the players we brought in are our own players as well. We've got an exceptional, good young core of players coming from our academy as well. What's kind of the thoughts going into the new season? It's just, a couple of days away now.
Yeah, so I think it's August 7th today. I think we've built a good basis of a team. I think we lack a couple more forwards. I think a team who really wants to push on and be where we want to be at the right end of this of the table this year needs forward options. So keep your eyes peeled for that over the next couple of weeks, because that'll certainly be happening. And I think it's important to set out and make a good start. And Saturday at Grimsby, or at home to Grimsby. So we've got to go from there.
And you talk about having a good relationship with your manager. I'm guessing he's been chewing your ear off about getting a couple of centre forwards in every day.
Trust me.
We need it done. Obviously, a new division sees new teams we face. Obviously, there's a lot of the old teams we played in League One or League Two before, even non-league as well. There's a couple of new teams. I think Bromley we've never played before in a league game as well.
No, yeah.
But there's a couple of old games that we can catch up on, the likes of Accrington and Morecambe. Any games that you may be looking forward to this season?
Yeah, well, I think you picked 2 out straight away there. It's Aki and Morecambe, local derbies. We've got to go out. Big performances are required against those teams. So other ones picked from the bunch. I always like going to Bradford. They have a big crowd. Bromley, of course. I mean, we played them in the FA Cup years ago. John Parkin scored. That's the only time we played him, and that was here. Apart from that, I think I'm looking forward to going back to Chesterfield. The fans are always great there. Big club as well. Obviously got Paddy Madden, but we wanted him and he didn't come off. So, no, they're probably the key ones for me.
Going back to, what we said before, obviously Morecambe and Accrington, the fans will know that have been moved to Monday nights. Sky Sports have struck up a deal with putting games on 20 plus times a season. Now, Fleetwood Town, obviously you get the one camera angle here, don't you, on the iFollow?
It'll be 2 this year.
Two this year as well. Obviously, it's frustrating for supporters. Make note as well, all the games now have been moved unless it's international games or they're called off for, weather-related issues up to January 5th to the Wimbledon game. So that's an improvement that Sky have let us know. What does that do for a club like Fleetwood? Obviously, everyone's getting that same treatment, but, when you're looking at the Barrow, the Accrington, the Morecambe game already that have been moved for television coverage.
Yeah, no, I sort of see the frustration with match-going fans because naturally you make your plans, you book your trains, you book your transport, you buy your tickets, and then the game moves. But it's the nature of the beast. If football wants to keep moving in the direction and spending so much money, it's going to require a lot more investment, and that investment, part of it is going to come from TV deals. Sky have really forked out for this latest deal, and it's an improvement on where it's been previously. But nature of the beast is that they're going to want to command some movement in games. So unfortunately, they will happen. I know they've obviously, as you mentioned, they're stopped up until January, but I think it's 6 weeks' notice at a minimum that they've got to give. So hopefully that's enough time for fans to make arrangements.
Yeah, absolutely so. And just lastly, one other question. Obviously, we talk about the aims of the season going ahead. We talked about what you want to do going forwards. Long-term aims in the next kind of 5 to 10 years. Where do you want to see Fleetwood Town? Obviously, I know Andy, your dad, always said the championship. I just want the championship, and obviously that dream is still there for me. Still there for a lot of supporters, even if it's just 1 year there. Obviously, you want longer.
Yeah.
Your dad also talked about sporting success on the pitch has to come first. Results, are the bread and butter, but then you want to develop your own players as well.
Yeah, I think probably long-term plans. We've got to get back into League One. That's got to be one of our aims immediately. we've got to keep developing talent through the academy and onto the pitch, watching them progress from there onwards into other clubs, hopefully, for good money. And then, I think the ultimate goal is try and push for the championship. Why can't we do that?
And absolutely. And I hope you have enjoyed this podcast as well. And if you have enjoyed it, please give us a like on whatever platform you are as well. Jamie, thank you for joining me today.
Cheers, Nappers.
So thank you for listening to the Cod Cast on its first episode. A massive thank you to owner Jamie Pilley for joining me today. He has had to rush off because he's got a football club to run after all as well. A huge thank you to our sponsors from Card Saver for sponsoring the episode as well. Make sure you go and check them out. But before we do go, please make sure you follow on the platform you are listening on. Until next time, I will see you later. Thank you.